Morning, Cathan.
Good morning. Josh, should we get started or maybe wait for a bit? Maybe till 9:05.
Morning, everybody. Do we want to get started? I'm going to give it a few more minutes.
Maybe there are some initial agenda items. So I created the agenda items in the sync notes, but they are like, I don't think we need everybody in there, but as people join in, we'll do the demo. So should we start?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Just roll.
Good morning, everybody, or good evening in some cases, I guess. But one thing, I am restructuring the notes a little bit so that as we are maturing as a community, just want to make sure that we keep this meeting fruitful, meaningful, and useful to everybody, right? So if you have any suggestions, please either add them to the notes as a comment or whatever, or we can DM or put it in the general channel in Slack. But the new structure is we will try to see some of the major OSS contribution highlights from the community. We'll try to do a deep dive or a demo or a proposal review. So if anybody has new proposals, and if you think that just writing and sharing them is not enough, you can of course come and talk about them here. We can have a 10-minute debrief. Like everybody should come ahead of time, read it, and we can just debrief them. And then we'll try to do a more of a what the current milestone we are working on, what's the progress on that, and have links to it. And then we'll try to keep about 5 or 10 minutes, depending on the time on that day, for Q&A. So that's the new, slightly more clearer proposal of agenda going forward for this meeting. And yeah, we'll open up for the Q&A in the end. So this week, I just wanted to bring up, thank you both Hanix and Yuraj on Eval Socket is his handle. They've both been really contributing. Hanix has made it possible to run Flyte on GCP reliably. He's been adding code to all the components, and I keep on seeing PRs from him. Thank you so much. And same thing with Yuraj. He's working on CTL, almost one-man show. He's piling through, and he has a pretty cool proposal to do more like CTL, very flexible way of showcasing the entities, and that's coming soon. So for those of you guys who don't know, FlyteCTL is essentially the intended CLI for Flyte, and it should be available hopefully by 0.8 is when we are targeting at least a small release that has a few few functions available. It's going to be a standalone binary that you download on whatever platform you want, and it's usable. Okay, we can go into the demos and proposals if anybody has them. We have a couple demos, and I think I want to stop saying that I'm going to do all the demos. I want other people who are doing cool stuff to do the demos, but we'll do it for a little bit more as long as I can do them. And if you guys want any specific deep dives into specific areas or topics, please propose. I would love to go into details of the deep dive of those topics. Hey, Nelson. Okay, so the demo for this week. So we closed out on 0.7 last week, a little later than usual, like a day or two. But we wanted to make sure we have one, reliably tested it and do enough coverage of the like bugs and things like that we wanted to get in before 0.7, and that's why it took a couple more days. But so as we closed out, I'll basically be demoing a couple of features. These are not done by me, so I'm just doing the mantle of the demo. But Sagemaker integration is completely done by Chang Hong, and the UI work is done by Randy Scott. And so I'll just be demoing and taking the credit today. They both cannot wait to the meeting. So let me stop my sharing my screen. All right. So Sagemaker custom training job. So it's interesting. I know most of you, or some of you guys are only on GCP, but in AWS there is a hosted machine learning service called Sagemaker. It offers multiple different ways of training your model, deploying your model, preprocessing some data, but they are all like hosted services without a common orchestration stuff. And so Flyte also intends to be one orchestration layer on top of Sagemaker. So there are multiple ways of doing things in Sagemaker. There's a concept of built-in algorithms. These are black box algorithms that I think Chang demoed a few weeks ago. These are built-in algorithms. You don't have to really even build a container. You just have to run the code. And those are pre-built. So you just give it inputs and it produces a model. But oftentimes we have models, especially in deep learning, where we want to provide the neural net architecture, or you want to run a script as part of the training job. And in that case, Sagemaker has a thing called custom models. It's a little more hairy to use custom models as compared to the built-in stuff. It's essentially writing a container in a specific way, having the inputs to be loaded from specific directories, and playing around with environment variables and command line parameters. But what we decided to do is we wanted to make it really simple for anybody who's writing a model that runs on Sagemaker. And if you're familiar with how you write Python functions in Flyte, then writing a Sagemaker model is no different. Custom Sagemaker model is no different. You essentially write a Python function and you put an annotation on it that's called custom training job. And in there, you specify the algorithm specification. The interesting thing over here is it doesn't mean there is any algorithm. It's not like XGBoost or PyTorch based, some ResNet 50 or anything. It is just essentially saying it's a custom model. And you can specify the type of inputs. There are a couple of different types here. You can also specify if you want specific resources. So we decided to not abstract the resources from Sagemaker, but to directly expose it. And that's because Sagemaker does not really support partial CPUs or GPUs or memory. What they do is they give you an entire instance to run a training job. So we decided to expose that because that has cost implications. So if you decide to use ML, M4 extra large, you will pay for that entire machine. It's not that if you just use one CPU on it, you will only pay for one CPU, you pay for the entire machine. And that's why we wanted to expose the instance type instead of like abstracting that into CPU, GPU, and memory. But other than that, it's just writing a function with all the inputs and outputs as is, and this computation will automatically float over into Sagemaker. We'll run it, we'll set it up in the right way, and we'll pass in the inputs, and the output will be fed back out. And here's an example of actually an MNIST training algorithm. It's the same code, but that's the algorithm written as is, and actually we just copy pasted it from TensorFlow, or in this case, yeah, TensorFlow's Keras implementation. And so this is just copy pasted. It's nothing different. It's a custom training job, and you run it. You can put it into a workflow as is and execute it. I actually have it registered at the moment. The one caveat with Sagemaker is that the trained or the model code has to be in a Docker container, and the Docker container has to be an ECR registry. They cannot pull from, at least not to my knowledge, they cannot pull from Docker or from GCR or whatever. You have to be in ECR. So that's why I didn't want to push it, because I don't have permissions to push the container from my local laptop. But we can just relaunch this thing. And this is an example. This is the same example that I had previously launched. You can just relaunch it. I'm relaunching it so that I don't have to. Oh, I'll remove this Zoom thing. Okay, that's it. So you launch it, and the interesting thing happens is the code was as we saw. I'm running this in our staging cluster at Lyft. That's also the reason you cannot really run SageMaker from local unless you have all the roles and everything set up on your local cluster. And that's a little complicated, and we're trying to simplify that as well. But as we see, this stuff's running, and it takes a bunch to initialize. That's because it's actually bringing up a machine. So that's one of the places where custom training is not as useful on SageMaker if you're just going to run something really small, where a Kubernetes pod is much more powerful or quicker to initialize. Yeah, while this is going to run, let's go and show the other parts of the demo. Oops. The other demo I had was, I'm just going to show the two new features that Randy created in the UI. Both of them, one of them is actually exposing the lineage information, or one part of it, and the other one is how to clone. So if you have used the diabetes XGBoost trainer workflow, and this is the example workflow, now you will start seeing, I don't know how to resize this. Okay. So for every task, the node and the task, you see the status, but you also see this nice cool symbol next to it. What that says is that this output for this execution was read from cache. And this was a missing thing. We should have had this at day one, but that is a quick way of knowing that it was getting read from cache. So if you do a relaunch, they should just quickly, this is running on my local laptop, so pardon if it's a little slow. But essentially it will start like saying that, oh, yeah, read from cache, and just like keep running with it. The other interesting thing is if it's read from cache, you can go to the source execution. So you can hit that button and it will take you to that. It was a different execution that actually populated the cache. And if you see the result of this execution was returned to cache, it's always noted over there. You click on it and you'll see more details. Now, if you go to some other examples where you did not use caching, the Fibonacci workflow, I think, yeah. This failed. So let's not use the failed one. Yeah, so this one doesn't use any caching, so you will start seeing caching with disabled for this execution. So all of this shows up in the UI, much as you expected, and this is like, I think, one of the things that was missing for a while. The backend actually supported this all the time, the backend exposes all this information. Just the UI was not it. That we've caught up now. Another interesting thing is, let's go and launch an execution. Let's do this. Let's put some image here. Okay. Once it starts running, many times what users want to do is relaunch, clone the execution, and launch another one. So on the top right, there is a 3 dots, like a more material design. You can click on it and you can say clone execution, and it will get in all the parameters. You can modify the parameter to be something else, like test and launch that. You can again clone and you can do it. Eventually you can say create another and things like that, like Jira, like workflow. So that's the idea of building these UI features. All right, which one was the one? Oh, where did the example go? Oh, this one failed. I don't know, it got killed. So I will have to debug this. Sorry, it was a live demo, but this was supposed to be the way it works is, I'll show you a previous one. I think some configuration got changed, but the way it works is you get all the logs, you get the link to the Sagemaker training job. And the Sagemaker training job is, as is, all the inputs are passed in correctly and all the values are set. And the algorithm metrics and instance metrics and all of them are available, but we also pull in all the interesting stuff out into here. So you can go to the log from here and so on. So that's SageMaker custom training and all the UI features. One of the future things coming in SageMaker is this still does not support distributed training. So if you want to run something like Horrorboard, or you want to run something like this, doesn't directly support it. We are working on making it very easy to be supported, and that's coming. Changhong will continue working on that. And we've still not completed our integration with SageMaker in terms of their batch predict endpoint and their endpoint creation. Endpoint creation API. We have not integrated with that, but that's like a longer pole at the moment, and we'll keep on doing that. That's the demo from my side. Oh, I actually wanted to talk about Milestone 8, and then we can open up for questions. All right, so for the Milestone 8, the new milestone is called Milestone 8. What we've started doing is the best way to know what's our immediate work items that the team is working on. And if you or any of you are working on it, please mark them as part of the milestone, and we can, we should be automating some of this using bots. It's not very easy to put bots in Lyft's organization because of security reasons. So that's another item that we should all discuss, whether we want to move Flyte out of Lyft's organization. That has some caveats where, if you are depending on some of the repos, they may break temporarily, but we should discuss that. But other than that, 0.8.0 is a milestone that we are slating for September 30th, and mostly working on smaller improvements, bug fixes, like UI. There are lots of UI improvements coming in, including the waterfall UI, and Flyte CTL and SageMaker. We are also some Flyte admin stuff also that we have been wanting to do, which should help a lot, and performance tuning of Presto. Couple things that are not noted as part of here yet, but they will be, are Flyte kit enhancement, at least parts of it, and a faster iteration model that we are thinking of prototyping. And they'll come as proposals probably in 0.8 and probably implemented in 0.9. So in the next OSS meeting, we should have some proposals. And so if there is anything that you guys would like to be prioritized in here that's not here, look at it, let me know. And if you would love to help and contribute in something, please let us know even more. We love that. So Thank you. That's it from my end. We can do Q&A.
Anybody Q&A this meeting?
Hey, Austin, you tried to say something?
Yeah. Hey, no questions.
Oh, but good. Thank you for showing up here today.
Oh yeah, I usually am watching it after the fact.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I know. You've told us about the videos, and that's really helped us. I hope the recent or the setup is such that you can easily access the videos.
oh yeah, I think things are sorted out, and it's good to see these developments in general positive directions.
Should we be putting all these videos into a YouTube channel or something? Would that be more useful?
I don't know. I mean, probably right, but like I think this is so not well known that the people that are gonna find it on a YouTube channel are the same ones that are gonna find this, wherever it is.
Right, right. Oh yeah,
Uh,
just more like a catalog, right? I think the YouTube nicer catalog then.
Oh yeah. But I mean, if you're thinking for discoverability, I don't think the
Oh,
project is at a point where a very passing layman is gonna happen across this on a YouTube channel and be so eager to dive in. It's pretty specialized still.
yeah. Any other comments, questions?
I don't have questions either, but I just wanted to say thanks for the cookbook, because I love the overhaul. There's a lot of stuff in there now, and this was really helpful for us for actually getting started. So yeah, just a thanks.
Oh, thank you, Soren, for that. Yeah, that's I think been the focus, and we continue to improve it as and when I get time. Like it's the extra effort, right? It's outside of business hour work, but yeah, thank you for that comment. It really helps. Okay, Nelson. So you guys are going to demo Flyte with Java next time, is that right?
I will need to check with Gleb. It's but probably, yeah. But maybe you have talked to him directly.
Yeah, he said he should be in a state where it can in the next couple, one of the next couple meetings, he'll be in a state where it can be done. But it's being used in production is what I understand, right? At Spotify.
Yeah. Actually, is the Gleb team. I mean, we have one team that's running in production, and we are onboarding a second team. So they are asking some features that are not available yet in the Flyte the Flyte Java. So we right now we are focusing on the integration with our scheduler with Flyte, and as soon as we finish that, then we will go back the attention to the Flyte Java and make this extra feature to onboard this team.
Yeah, yeah. But one of the things that I'm also trying to help with whenever I get a chance is to test Flyte with Java on AWS, and it should work. There was one problem last time, and we're working through that. But after that, it should work. And then, if people want to use it on AWS, they should be able to. Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'll have the video posted as soon as Zoom is finished grinding through it, and feel free to share it with your colleagues and anyone else on YouTube who might be looking for cat videos. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. And hopefully everyone is avoiding the fires and the COVID, and and everybody's staying safe. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.